Antonio, we've talked a little bit about Gen AI use at work and how, according to the Work Relationship Index, it can increase fulfillment and happiness at work by 20 points, which is it's a stat you really have to pay attention to. Now, I'm only speaking from my personal experience, but I have found that Gen AI use is kind of on an individual basis. The people who are a little more curious, a little more tech friendly, got into it, figured out a couple of productivity hacks. But I haven't really heard a lot about integration on the organizational level. AI, especially Gen AI, started coming out, and people were worried it was going to steal their jobs. And it was in a test and learn phase. So I think that came with a little bit of the approach from leadership to focus on efficiency over everything else. How do we, listen, encouraging Gen AI use on an individual level is a fantastic start. Do you have any other ideas on how we can kind of you know, use AI to drive employee fulfillment deliberately?
So, first, Michael, what's really interesting about the Gen AI transformation is that most of the previous one, mobile phone, virtual reality, social media, on and on and on, they started even the personal computer. They started kind of at home for personal use. This is the
Mm-hmm.
first time that it's starting within the context of the work environment. We are going to learn to use the multiple applications of Gen AI within the context of work first and foremost, and that's going to then move into the life. Normally, the three biggest uses of Gen AI in the office is first, as you would imagine, search. So Gen AI has pretty much
Mm-hmm.
disrupted everything related about search. It has its
Oh, yeah.
pluses and minuses. When I was searching at Google, I have a bunch of links. So I would
Yep.
check the different links and I would come up with whatever solution I wanted. Now you have a perfectly um, well articulated sentence or paragraphs, and it's coming from multiple sources. But search is one. The second one is actually summarizing huge amounts of data. And that's the
Oh, yeah.
work that we're doing by getting all sorts of consumer data summarized and integrated. And the third piece is the creation of new contents that happens to be the smallest one of them. So normally, what you are seeing now is the first wave of use is productivity related. Things
Mm-hmm.
like how can I improve my balance between the mundane and the sublime, if you will? How can I achieve
Mm-hmm.
more hours of flow? How can I connect so that we can solve this problem sooner? What I think the bigger opportunity, and we're beginning to unfold that opportunity, is the creation of new work. The moment that I can summarize, today I had 15 meetings, now I have very nice and tight summaries about them. First, I'm going to be able to remember each and every one of them easier. That means that I probably are going to begin to make better and more effective connections between those meetings. That means that I'm going to have ideas that I didn't have before and the time to actually pull them through. That to me is the real opportunity of Gen AI. And we saw that while most of the communication, most of the advertising about Gen AI options are driven about productivity, save time, do it faster, etc. And that's what the manufacturers like ourselves and Microsoft and Apple are talking about. There is a
Hmm.
higher order of conversation between people, between workers and consumers about the need for a higher order of benefit within the context of work, which is what we're talking about fulfillment. So, to the extent that we can bring those two closer together, the bigger opportunities that we are going to have to actually transform the way that we work and impact all the things that we were mentioning before. Does that make sense?
That actually makes a ton of sense. And I really do. I love it. I think that there needs to be a measured, tiered approach to this technology to where it's not, running away with us but it is providing value. And I just love the idea of elevating the conversation. That is why this podcast exists. So thank you very, very much for that.